In the meantime, it's time for our second guest. And folks, as you know, late last year, Dinamo was awarded the hosting rights for the 2024 Australian Croatian Soccer Tournament. And we've almost immediately an organising committee was set up to start planning for what is a massive show. And you certainly do need 12 months of planning. And joining us here today is a member of the organising committee, Mr. Marko Butorac. It's an old friend of mine, and I'm sure he's an old friend of yours because he's very, very well known down at Churchill Reserve. Budo, good to have you on the DinamoTV podcast. How are you?
Anchi, good evening guests, and well done to everyone that's behind the scenes that got this up and running. So it's great for Dinamo and a great initiative. Yeah, and great to be part of the inaugural show.
Absolutely, mate.
People in 30 years' time will look back at the first episode and what a joy it is to be on it.
They will indeed, mate. But it's a big year for Dinamo this year. Obviously, we've got the DinamoTV podcast. That's great. Hopefully, the seniors, when they take to the NPL field, they won't be struggling like they did last year and previous years. They'll be doing a lot better. We're sure of that. But it all culminates later this year with the Australian Croatian Soccer Tournament. When exactly is it? What are the exact dates?
Yeah, so we're locked in for the traditional weekend of tourney. So this year it's the 3rd to the 6th of October. So the traditional weekend is that second or that last weekend of the school holidays for us Victorians. It is the week after the AFL Grand Final, but for our interstate friends, it does still run on the NRL Grand Final weekend. So yeah, it's that traditional early October period, and the last time Dinamo hosted was 1990, so it's been a long time. In 2000, hosted in 1990 and 2000. Was fortunate enough to actually play in that tournament for. I guess we were a pub team. We were the Dom FC, Footscray Dom. And my memories of the 1990 Dinamo tourney, that was my first tournament. Mm-hmm. I was 8 years old. Dad took me to the Sunday final, and Dinamo bet Melbourne Knights that sunny Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, mate. We go a long way back. You and I. We've been on the Savez committee together. We've back in a previous life when I was at the Croatian Herald, I dealt with you quite often with various football clubs that you're involved in. We'll talk a bit about that later. But it's an event like this requires a lot of work, mm-hmm. a lot of helpers. And let's start off with the organising committee. Who else is on the organising committee, and how are you guys structured? Is there a chairperson, or is there just people that are responsible for individual departments? Here's a chance to sort of give the organisers a plug.
Yeah, you posted that photo from the Dinamo end of season presentation night. We had 1,000 people at Sunshine Centre, and Zapršić boys were there that night. The announcement was made, and soon after, there was a small team of us that were meeting and part of the bid process. And then post that, we met with the Dinamo committee, and then we created we call ourselves the Super Nine. And so that's myself. I look after the gala, marketing, social media. Danny Jutriša is looking after food and beverage, and liquor licensing. Ante Rosanic, who's looking after infrastructure, and also our second base, which will be Keilor Wolves, which is only a 6-minute drive from Dinamo. Karl Reich from Wednesday Nights is involved with infrastructure as well, and also merchandise. Susie Illich, she's got a great team, subcommittee with her. She's looking after the Friday ladies' lunch and also family entertainment throughout the weekend, in particular Sunday. Ante Dragovic, who's our linchpin and our money man and our accountant, and Ante will keep us in line with what we can and can't purchase. Dane Duganjic, who's been a star, creating all our collateral, doing a lot of behind the scenes with infrastructure, a little bit of a jack of all trades at the moment. Matt Shakic as well. Matt's our key entertainment man, already chatting with a lot of the local bands and musical acts, and we've got a couple of things that I won't announce tonight, but we will throughout the year. Matt's also looking after the Friday night and the Sunday, and then we've got Daniela and / her husband Rob. They come as a pair. So we're a Super 9+1. And they're both in charge of a mammoth task of recruiting volunteers. And then, so that's our core 9, and we're catching up regularly. And then we have subcommittees. So the core 9 have brought people in to support their roles. Or we've also got, the likes of Ivan Mioch, who's looking after liquor license, and others that have joined and supporting the wider group. So it's we're strategic as well to keep people who weren't already on the Dinamo committee, because we understand the mammoth task that it does take to the Dinamo committee don't stop, and I see that as soon as the season stops, they're already recruiting and trials and merchandise and registration. So the Dinamo committee are focused on running the club, and we're assigned and supported by them. And we're reporting up, and in particular, John Bilosh and Ilya, and keeping the committee afloat of what's happening.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, look, as you mentioned, it's just such a big team required, and look, the weekend itself is such a massive weekend, but you kind of sort of touched on a few things that there could be announcements made, and I'm sure there's going to be announcements made right from now until September. But the weekend itself, what's it going to look like in 2024?
Yeah, we I think we're fortunate coming out of COVID. Sydney was the first one off the back of COVID, and Adelaide as well last year. We've got some great resources there. We've got data, and so we caught up with the Savers after the announcement. We're able to chat through the last couple of tournaments and the wins and challenges. We have a great resource in Stella Spoljard, who also was heading up or part of the organising committee at Adelaide. Stella was fantastic and shared some great insight into Adelaide, and previous tournaments have already shared with us some of the stats. And it's really important, us as a community, and to your point of Ivan Filipovic and us working together, and we intend to kind of pass on all this data to the next successful tournament as well. But off the back of recent tournaments, and we've all been to different tournaments and have experience, but the weekend will actually kick off on Wednesday night, and that'll kick off at Aher de Melbourne in our Footscray Dome. The kitchen will be open on the Wednesday night, and we'll encourage any interstate supporters who are in town, who might fly in on the Wednesday night, to head down to the Dome, and there'll be some live music there as well. And then we'll kick things off on the Thursday at the club. There'll be breakfast available every day at Dinamo. Thursday, the 2 grounds will open up, so Dinamo being the main host, and our second facility at Keilor Wolves. There'll be food, music, drinks, things for the kids across the weekend. The Friday night is a big one. We won't make that announcement just yet, Tonchi. Matt Shakic has been working hard in the background to secure a pretty impressive venue. The challenge for us at Dinamo, and I guess the luxury of some of the previous hosts, have been that they've been able to host the Friday night at their own facility, at their own ground, King Tom being one, and Adelaide as well. And we made a pretty clear decision early on that we didn't want to risk that, also with the issues around our neighbours at Dinamo. So we made the decision to take it off site, and we'll make that announcement in due course. We kick off the Friday and we go into Saturday. Again, there'll be football likely at both grounds, and then we'll wrap up our second venue, and all the traffic will be at Dinamo on the Saturday afternoon. And then we move into the Saturday night, where we're chatting with a well-known venue at the moment, and again, we'll make those announcements throughout the year once that's all shored up. Then we move into a big Sunday. Some beautiful weather. We're praying for it on the Sunday, but we are also making contingencies at Dinamo if the weather isn't kind to us. And again, Matt's tasked with a big closing party, so we're all looking forward to that. So big weekend plan, I guess, for us and Dinamo. And for those that have been to Dinamo, we're known by the community as being hospitable. So food is really important. Not waiting long lines, making sure there's a lot of volunteers around at the bars. We want to try some different things from a food point of view, and we're really going to support local community. And we're going to run a Sunday market as part of the Sunday festivities. We'll also have some kids entertainment, and Dinamo as a precinct will look very different. So for those that have used to traditional Dinamo, we're obviously with the amount of people that we need to facilitate, and the Thursday night and the Friday are our peak times. We need to make sure that there's enough bars and food and seating, all the things that we're accustomed to at tourneys. So Dinamo is going to look very different, and we want it to be that way. We don't want it to be just a regular day, a regular Sunday afternoon or weekend at tournament. Yeah. We want this to be memorable. We haven't hosted since 2000, so we want to make a lasting impression.
Well, I tell you what, mate, the year's just started and we can barely wait for end of September. I tell you what, we're going to put a slide up on where we are calling for volunteers. Join us. We're known as the Dinamo Blue Crew, and there it is. So to register your interest, click on the Jot Form link at the tournament social media platforms on Facebook, on the Facebook page, CST50 Melbourne, or there it is. There's the link, form.jotform.com / and there's all those numbers. Dare I say, just take a screenshot of that. I'll leave it there for a little bit longer so you can take a screenshot and you can just click on that link, or like I said, go on the Facebook page, CST50 Melbourne Dinamo 2024. And you will be able to pop your name down. How many volunteers have we got at the moment, and roughly how many will we need? Are we, sort of 50% of the way there, 75? Are we, how many more members will we need, Budo?
It's a big team, Tonchi. And just a note for those watching, we'll post the link in this video chat as well.
Yeah.
So Danielle and Rob have been tasked with the early recruitment. They've also got a team behind them. We had a bit of a soft launch, but we launched the tournament on our socials, and we used one of Dinamo's friendly games against Dandy late in December, on the 20th of December. And we used it as an opportunity to get some people down at the club and start registration. So we're just shy of 100 Blue Crew, which is pretty impressive, pretty incredible. And we estimate up to 250 to 300 volunteers are required. And that's based off previous tournament data, and also based off the infrastructure, the areas that we need. Obviously, any time that we set up another kitchen or a food station, that obviously means, a certain amount of shifts. So there is a science behind it. There's a formula as well. And once we settle on the logistics and what our layout looks like, we'll be able to shore up those exact numbers. So as you've just said as well, we encourage you to sign up. If you can only do a Friday or a Saturday, or you're not even sure, jump on the link. There's a few options. Those that are holding an RSA and that can serve liquor, please join. If you're interested in working a bar but you don't have your RSA, we're going to create those opportunities later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do have a special skill, if you're like me and work in the events industry, part of a volunteers group or whatever that might be, drop us a line. If you've got a certain skill and want to help out throughout the year, we are looking for people that are skilled. We're looking for the right people. We can't just take everyone. It is someone that can work within our committee as well. but we are open to I mean, Dinamo's got an incredible network, Tonchi, across Gorspic Bears, Wednesday nights, Vukovar, the junior committee are massive. The senior committee, and John touched on as well, is quite stable, and that's shows stability as well, and it really shows that this is Dinamo's time, and we're ready to host an incredible tournament.
No, it should be absolutely fantastic, Budo. Fantastic news to hear. The excitement factor is going up, but we're only 1/3 of the way as far as getting volunteers, so we do need to attract many, many more volunteers. All right, we're going to leave it there. But before we do, mate, we've got a big event. You mentioned one of the parts of the Dinamo family, the community, if you like, and that is the Gorspic Bears, a club that's, well, you helped co-found, I believe. And there's a big event coming up in February at Dinamo. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I've been involved in some way with the Gorspic Bears for the last 20 years, and having been one of the co-founders, 20 years ago now, I did actually put my hand up to help out with the 20th gala night, and we're doing a massive. Thanks, Tonch. We're doing a gala night at Dinamo, so we want to be able to support Dinamo, our hosts as well. We only have a couple of tables left, which is a fantastic result. We've got a lot of former players, current players. We'll have a Q&A on the night with some former players. We're doing a big tombola as well, and it's just a night to get together and celebrate what has been a successful and a memorable, and me personally, a memorable 20 years with the Bears, and the stories of people meeting at Motel Night and getting married and having kids, and the connections and the friends that we've made interstate, overseas, Canada, America, and Germany, is pretty special. So, the Saturday the 24th will be a great celebration. So get in touch with the Bears through the socials, through me as well if you want to book a table. But yeah, we're down to about 4 or 5 tables left.
Hurry, folks. The number there to call Marko is 0422 115 649, and with the tickets, adults just $80, which these days is quite cheap for gala events, and pensioners and youth just $60. Do make sure you get in very, very quickly. Budo, once again, thanks heaps. We look forward to having you or someone else from the organising committee on in the next few maybe weeks or months to give us an update. But in the meantime, you've got your hands full both with the tournament and the Gorspic Bears event next month.
Thanks, Toji. Mismo Dinamo.
Mismo Dinamo.